Good afternoon and good morning and good evening wherever you are. I'm Sally Sparks with the Keep Music Live project, which is a partnership with Streamside Music, Deb Cornish Audio, Asheville Music School, and Dream Guitars and Fretboard Journal. We've got John Doyle back with us today for the second time, and we're really thrilled to have him with us again. And that seems to be a popular venue here for folks to come back. So we're really, really glad to see that happen. We've got another show today. We've got one this evening with Mar, who lives in Nashville. Mar is from Peru, does a wonderful blend of Latin and contemporary singer-songwriter craft, great performer, guitarist, and singer. And that'll be tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time, on the Keep Music Live project Facebook page, and there's also a YouTube channel at Streamside Music where you could watch it there. And then coming up on Tuesday, the 5th, we have Amici Music, which has been a Streamside favorite for a long time, kind of got us into the listening room idea about 10 years ago, and Dan Weiser and Amici Music going to be playing your requests. If you go to amicimusic.org, you can send a note and your request for your classical piano favorites. And then Max Hatt and Etta Glass on next Saturday, the 9th. They've been featured at the Lincoln Center, the Kennedy Center, and on NPR. Just a wonderful blend of jazz and singer-songwriter music that's coming up next week. And we'll have more after that, but that's what we've got going on right now. And I think I see that John appears to be ready to go here. So I'm going to bring him on the screen and disappear. And we hope everyone enjoys the concert. I'll be putting some banners up where you can support John, since his gigs are online, as so many people are experiencing right now. And please welcome John Doyle.
Thanks, Sally. Hello, everybody, and welcome here to my room. I'm going to do a whole bunch of songs here, particularly though from the Pata Stones. A new album is coming out, so hey! I never imagined it was kind of going to be an opening like this for this album. So you go, strange thing, isn't it? Or did I be kind of talking to myself? Kind of, I do that anyway on a regular basis, but especially recently. But we're going to do, I'll start out with a couple of numbers that I've done for a long time, I suppose. This one is Going for a Soldier, Jenny. I did an album with a band called The Alt, which is a great friend of mine, Eamon O'Leary and Nuala Kennedy. And this is a song I got from Nic Jones, the great Nic Jones. And there was a band called Halyard that he was in that I got it from an early recording. So here we go. Hopefully everyone can hear what I'm playing and saying. Okay. Soldier Jenny, I'm off for the rolling sea. They've given me the Golden Gate, which they say has enlisted me, and I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my muscle in my arms instead of my Jenny dear. There's no use to fall a crying, give your senseless weeping o'er. Many's a day you've heard me sigh, you should have been kind before. And I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my musket in my arms instead of my Jenny dear. Heart and spirit sinking, but if I should come to shame, be as it may, I'm thinking you alone will be to blame. And I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my musket in my arms instead of my Jenny dear. Dearly I have loved you, you must full well have known. If I never had faint disproved you, then I might not have reckless grown. And I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my musket in my arm instead of my Jenny dear. For you, well, the hours are flying, it's time that I was gone. When next in our heart you're trying, Jenny, look unto your own. And I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my musket in my arm instead of my Jenny dear. And I'm off to fight for the army as a Lancashire Fusilier, rolling my musket in my arm instead of my Jenny dear. There we go. So let's see where to put these things. So that was Going for a Soldier, Jenny. And this is the first song from the album. This is actually the first track on the album, actually. I'm not going to go right down the line, but I'll do as many as I can. And this is a song called The Rambler from Clare. And I can't remember exactly where I got this from or where I heard it first. I think I may have actually got this from an old book, from Joyce's book, or from, I think, Colm O'Loughlin's Irish Street Ballads first. And I saw the melody, or saw the lyrics, and then went, oh yeah, that's great. Then found the melody, and I didn't quite like the melody at the time, and so kind of wrote the melody for this. And then thinking, of course, that oh yeah, nobody has ever heard this song before. And as soon as you do it, of course, you can, like, loads of people have heard it before in different various concoctions, because it's a traditional song. So anyway, I really enjoy this, singing and playing this song, because it's and I don't do it very often, funnily enough, but it's just got a great story about a lad from the 1798 rebellion. But it's more like he's kind of a little rake traveling around the country, and finally gets involved and gets serious. So here we go. This is a mandola. I've had it a long time now, and it's a Trillium mandola. Robert Abrams, a great maker from up the northeast there in the States. And so it's a CGDA. So. Of my journey that ever was known, I straight took my way to the county Tyrone, where among the pretty maidens they use me well there, and they call me the stranger and the rambler from Clare. 'Twas then I enlisted in the town called Fermoy, with so many masters I could not comply. I deserted next morning, the truth I declare, for Limerick town went a rambler from Clare. I made my way then to the town of Tralee, where I fell a courting young Sally McGee. Well, I first gained her favour and then left her there, and now they're in search of the rambler from Clare. Well, like a deserter, my case to bewail, I was taken and captured in the town of Rathkeil. Then off to headquarters they had me repair, and in that black hole stuck the rambler from Clare. Well, I took off my hat and I made a low bow in hopes that the colonel would pardon me now. Well, the pardon he gave me was hard and severe. I'll bind him, confine him, he's a rambler from Clare. Surprise. My loving father, his shouts reached the skies. Brave boy, said my father, arms now prepare, and bring me my darling, the rambler from Clare. 'Cause then we assembled in harmonious throng, with our guns on our shoulders, we were 10,000 strong. Well, the firing began with our boys in the rear, and they broke the jail door and took the rambler from Clare. And we made our way then to the town of Brady, where I fell a courting young Sally McGee. The torches yet ready and the wind that blows fair. He is gone, God be with him, the rambler from Clare. I'm entitled a united man. I cannot stay home in my own native land, so off to America I must quickly repair, and leave all my friends in that sweet part of Clare. Farewell to my father, wherever he be, likewise to my sweetheart, young Sally McGee. Well, the ship she lies ready and the wind that blows fair. He is gone, God be with him, the rambler from Clare.
Well, there you go. It's hard. I'm trying to read some of the things that people are saying as I'm singing the song, which is not proven a good thing to do. So I shall stop that. But in the process, I did see that that Duncan and Lily are there. So hello, Duncan. Duncan played on that song actually. So thank you so much. Duncan is an amazing fiddle player, what amazing instrumentalist, all sorts of different instruments, and singing too. And he played fiddle and stuff on that song, and then cello on other songs, and a few different things. So thanks so much, Duncan. You're great. And then Lily, you're a fantastic singer and player too. So great to see you, and congratulations. And so let's see, what'll I do? I'll do another song. No, I'll do a tune here. And then I saw that there's there's a woman from Maui there, and then a couple of people from Germany, and then a few from Sheffield, one from Sheffield, and then something else as well from Richmond as well. So hello everybody. So this is a tune called Elevenses, and surprise, surprise, because it's in 11, and it's kind of like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not an incredibly complicated one. Complicated enough, but the great Mike McGoldrick played on this one on the album, which was very enjoyable, I have to say, to hear him. And he's one of my closest friends. And it's great to. Because before we went into lockdown here, I was on tour with himself and Mike, with John McCusker, and so it was always great fun playing with them lads. So 11's this. Hello, back from Italy. So, hey, Sally. I'll do this. Do the song first. Hopefully, I do this very rarely too. This is one from the album. This is called "Lady Wind." It's kind of a mystery, this song, in a way. I wrote a bunch of these songs in Sligo, in a place called Coolani, County Sligo, a little village kind of in the south of Sligo town. And that's where my father's family come from and where my father and mother live now, and two of my brothers. And I'm related to half the village as well. So kind of going back there is always a treat. I was living there not too long ago and kind of writing songs. And they all have a particular kind of feel and momentum to them. And this one, I suppose, it has a lot of place names from that particular area. And Lady Wind actually came from a tour I was doing in Scotland, and of course I went to Edinburgh and was walking down the street, and there's a place called I think it's Lady Wind Street, or it's just called Lady Wind, or Wind Street maybe, and I kind of got the image in my head, and then started writing this, and I suppose it's kind of an analogy of Lady Wind being the kind of a personification, or a kind of a goddess of sorts of freedom. And so that's what this song is about, in a way, because of a love song of sorts. So otherwise it's about something else. In the north lies a brae close by Knockacree. She stares through the valley and down to the sea, to the hill of the moon and Colleen Moor, to the far strand of Streeda and west to Dumore. She steals into town her people to see, and waits in the gloaming her sister to greet, while a peek in the windows and look through the door, and gaze at the faces as through ages before. Lady Wind, Lady Wanderer, restless and free, no man can claim you, no one holds the key. Where do you go to, and what do you find, when all the world beckons? Where are you, Lady Wind? Flowers for the seasons, they line her room, the lily, the primrose, the besom in bloom, shades of silver and gold fleck her hair, beneath her white hat with ribbon so fair. Well, the wide-eyed dew-covered deer wakes again on the slope of the mountain. The mist closes in. The cuckoo, the blackbird, and starling all sing. They hasten the summer and give life to spring. Lady Wind, Lady Wanderer, restless and free, no man can claim you, no one holds a key. Where do you go to, and what do you find, when all the world beckons? Where are you, Lady Wind? Well, she holds a hazel wand tied
much as the fire rises under command. The words that she speaks, well, they fly on the wing. The whispering echoes of life that you bring. And if I could follow, I'd surely take wing and float like an eagle above everything. For those that suffer and long held in chains can gaze in your eyes and find peace again. Lady wind, lady wanderer, restless and free, no man can claim you, no one holds the key. Where do you go to, and what do you find when all the world beckons? Where are you, Lady Wind? Lady Wind, lady wanderer, restless and free, no man can claim you, no one holds the key. Where do you go to, and what do you find when all the world beckons? Where are you, Lady Wine? Thank you. So, let's see, what else? Okay. For all those guitar nerds out there, guitar players, this is a great guitar. I've been really enjoying this guitar. It's a totally new guitar that's a guy called Kevin Mederman made for me. He makes a heap of instruments for me, which is such a great thing to have a person that can do that and is willing to share them. And this is kind of one he made really quickly for me, because there was a guitar that wasn't working that well for some strange reason. I think it was kind of weather induced. Anyway, he made it for me in the interim, and then kind of put it together, and so it's so much fun. Anyway, Kevin Mederman lives in North Dakota, in way up in the wilds there. I think spring just happened. I think he might be, maybe he's online here as well. So, but spring I think just happened. I think the first flower is out. So coming up from the snow maybe. And anyway, so this is Crooked Jack. Okay, I'll see. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, Johan. Down the road a little bit later on. I'll write it down. How about that? This is hey Tom. Hey Kale Tom. So this is a tune also from Kulani that I wrote when I was there. I call it the Kulani reel, but I don't think it's a reel at all. It's actually it's more like a hornpipe in a way, and then followed by a couple of tunes. So which I can't remember. Oh, hold on a sec. I can't remember the names of them, but I can look at the names of them. Let's see. Oh well, I think I can. Wow. Okay, the first one, the first reel after the slow tune, is called The Winding Stair, which is actually a place myself and my brothers used to go to when we were
teenagers and a bit later on when we were kind of on the dole in Ireland. And they used to have pretty cheap cups of coffee. It was right beside the Halfpenny Bridge there, and we used to go in and read books and hang out. It's a great place called the Wine and Stair. And great friends of ours, because Ali and Vinny, who I haven't seen for years, used to go there with us. And then the last tune is called Ross's Rambles after that, which is Ross is my daughter. And there you go. It's great to have this, actually. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Have to get used to that. Well, that was that set of tunes there. Angela, great to hear you, to see you there. I shouldn't be reading this text. I don't know how people do this all the time. You kind of read it and then you lose your train of thought because, oh, yes. And Michelle and gang, all my brother and family there. Good to see. Great to hear that you're on here. And hey, Juliet. Okay. If I can get my. This is the title track called The Pat of Stones. I forgot to mention that in the last song, The Lady Wine, that Cathy Jordan, the great singer from Sligo and from Dervish, was singing on that as well. And she's a great friend. And I missed them all down there in Sligo. Rick Epping is on this album too, which is what a fantastic musician he is. Great harmonica player and concertina player and singer and, you know, collector of songs and all of that. And just an all-around nice guy. And Jones, a big thank you to them. And I think my parents are on here as well. I'm not sure if they can say hello or not, but if you can't, I can say hello. You're maybe even too shy, even if you're in the land. And I hope you're doing okay. Everyone's kind of stuck indoors. So I'll do this song. It's called The Pat of Stones. I got requested by the Sligo Arts Council to write a song on a W.B. Yeats poem. And so I picked an obscure poem of his, one of his earlier ones. He mourns for the changes that has come over him and his beloved and longs for the end of the world. And that was the name of the title of the poem, kind of longer than the poem itself. But it's a great poem. It's a very strange poem, full of kind of Irish mythology in it. And so I thought it was kind of great. I love that kind of stuff anyway. And kind of started picking it apart and using some of Yeats's life in the poem itself. He was in love with a woman called Maud Gaughan. He was her his muse, and kind of an unrequited love, really. And so anyway, that's what this song is about, really, at the end of the day. It's hard to describe songs, really. There's a lot of songs, traditional songs, that you can describe easy enough. And certain songs have, you know, lots of little flavors in them. One little thing in this, excuse me, is I threw in a little bit of Amergin's poem in here. Like Amergin, one of the first poets ever to reach Ireland, they say, one of the sons of Mill, one of the Miletians. And as he was, they were invading the country, the Druids cast a spell from Ireland to obscure it from view. And try as they might, the Miletians couldn't see the land. And one of the chieftains of the Sons of Mill said, "Can anyone cut through this fog with their magic?" And up speaks Amergin, and he says, "Yes, I can." And he quotes this amazing poem, this very kind of very animalistic poem, really. And of course, as soon as he finishes the clouds part, he has kind of eclipsed the magic of the Druids, and they go in and invade the country. So there you go. There's no happy endings in Irish mythology, even. At night the lonesome call of owl, at dawn the cockerel crowing. Once more the summer sun it comes, its dappled light adorning
It's from the west she came to me, now to the west returning. For days I held you in my arms, no beauty could surpass you. Your lips as red as blood on snow, and your raven's hair about you. And we said we'd love each other till the sea's day would run dry, and darkness roots, sun, moon, and stars from that western sky. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. I dreamed a dream the other night. McGoldrick came a-calling. He weaved a spell and he cast it well. Its light upon us forming. And I awake and I call you by your name, to no answer but the wind, crying out for all lost love, it seems, throughout the world resounding. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. I've been a salmon in the pool, a red deer running fleetly, the savage soul of man as battle rages all about me. And now a birth and now a death, a fire burning brightly. Oh, I've been the wind on a raven's wing, as a storm it rages round me. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. I have walked on the path of stone, the wood of thorns surrounds me. At night the lonesome call of owl, at dawn the cockerel crowing. And I've lost love and I've lost again, no scar could prove deeper. And every step away from you, my heart that just turns colder. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers. Oh, when the time's at hand, keep my spirit strong. You keep me waiting for that promised land. Your light upon me lingers.
Hello, Mum and Dad. I'm Tom. It's great to see you. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Oh, I'll do it on the... See if I remember this one. This is a kind of a song I wrote based on a little story my uncle told me when we were out fishing many years ago. My uncle Donal from Donegal, and we were, hey Henrik, and we were fishing there underneath Slieve League Mountain, which is like an amazing place, kind of one of the most amazing places I've ever been, really, and kind of rough seas too. But he said when he was out at Curragh when he was a kid, and the worst time he ever had was when he was trying to get to shore and the wind was blowing away from the shore out to sea, and the further out, the harder he would pull in, the further out to sea he was getting. And I kind of wrote a song kind of based on that. So it's called Teelin Harbour. Teelin is very close to where he was born, in Carrick in County Donegal. I used to spend, every now and again I used to go down there and spend some time with my aunt and uncle and my cousins there, which was just, you know, really great. And what else to say? Well, myself and Eamon Coyne and Dermot Byrne made an album there recently enough, all with kind of Donegal tunes in it, because we all have connections there, and so anyway, this should have been on that album. Anyway. Okay, let's see if I can sing. Fishing for the heron, the mussels straining men, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Set out from Teelin Harbour, cur up to the wind, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Sundog in the evening, warn us to stay at home, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Now we're on the sea a-rolling, the wind it howls and moans, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. It's time to bring the nets in, heave and haul the line, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Quickly on your life, boys, we'll be sinking in the brine, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. The gulls, they're all crying, heading from the shore, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. And their wind is rising quickly, bear down on your oar, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. White horses cap the waves, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Below the stout sea churning, below a watery grave, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. The lights of home they glisten, as distant stars they shine, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. And our family, they're all praying for some signal or some sign, Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Munster and make chocolate, Toppy Bay and Narraga Garrigalua. Bob. Nice to see you. Okay, since I have this out here, let me do this one. I wrote this. It's called Heart and Hand. Martin O'Connor gave me the title for this. The great accordion player. We met at a hotel, and he says, "I've got a song title for you." And he told me the story, and I was like, "Okay, I have to write it." Now it was basically about a man called Richard Joyce who, in the 1600s, he indentures himself to go to Barbados, and he gets halfway there on the ship when he gets abducted, and all the people get abducted. The ship gets abducted from by the hands of Algerian pirates, and they're sent to Algiers, and he spends 14 years in slavery, and in that time he learns how to goldsmith. So they say. And then after 14 years, he eventually is released. And he heads back to Ireland and lives happily ever after. And so even just a happily ever after thing, I had to write a song because of that. It doesn't happen often. Joyce, my story I will tell. In poverty I left this land, in Galway I did dwell. 14 years in slavery, the Moors they held command. Lives were cheap, we were sold like sheep in Algiers' burning land. While I gave myself in servitude for 7 long years or more, bidding goodbye to kit and kin, we sailed out from the shore. As we took our last fond look on Ireland's glittering strand, to Barbados for the sugar cane, the captain would sell all hands. Sell all hands, captain would sell all hands. To Barbados for the sugar cane, the captain would sell all hands. Well, we hadn't been on the deep for 2 days, but barely 3, when on a brisk and glowy day, 3 distant sails at sea. They beat a course towards us, and we tacked our ship about. But they gave chase and soon gained pace, rolled their cannon out. And when I saw that sickle flag curling scimitar in each hand, the fear it struck, a heavy blow, we had to fight or stand. Those fearsome Janissaries, all from their native land, had come to pillage and plunder and chain us in iron bands. Iron bands, chain us in iron bands, had come to pillage and plunder and chain us in iron bands. Well, broadside to broadside, soon we were engaged. They vertible hooked and boarded us as the battle raged. But we were far outnumbered, and soon the flag came down. To the beats and blows of this pirate foe, we surrendered every man. Well, the receipt viewed his captives, and he said to Barbary we were bound. Thrown into the hole, me boys, our ankles chained around. Fed into rough with tack and slop, we slept where we did stand. And how I cursed and rued the day we left old Ireland. Ireland, left old Ireland. Oh, how I cursed and rued the day we left old Ireland. 3 months we were at sea, to
who he docked to yells and jeers, brought up but blinded in the light in the port of old Algiers. First they sold the women to the harems they were bound. Most men went to the salt mines and a life in hell they found. Now I had apprenticed as a boy and fashioned rings of gold. The receipt told the auctioneer who had me bought and sold to a goldsmith for the sultan who needed a helping hand. Kind Providence had saved my life in this fierce and foreign land. For he took me in and fed me and tended to my wounds, and taught me all the craft he knew of gold and precious stones. And as the weeks rolled into months, months rolled into years, I became a master of my trade, a goldsmith in Algiers. In Algiers, a goldsmith in Algiers, I became a master of my trade, a goldsmith in Algiers. Now I fashion fine things for the Sultan to behold, chalices and necklaces, things of beaten gold. But the finest work among them all, it was a wedding band, a golden heart held tenderly between two loving hands. Heart in hand, heart in loving hands, a golden heart held tenderly between two loving hands. Well, finally the news came that I was to be freed. The king demanded our release, and the sultan he agreed. My master begged me for to stay, even offered his daughter's hand. But I bid Algiers adieu with safe passage to Ireland. And now I'm back in Claddagh, where I was born and bred, with a wife and 3 daughters, a house and farmstead. Still I make rings and fine things for the great and grand, but my favourite is the Claddagh ring with its heart and loving hand. Heart in hand, heart in loving hands, a golden heart held tenderly between two loving hands. Heart in hand, heart in loving hands, my favourite is the Claddagh ring with its heart and loving hands. Try these headphones for a bit to see how that is. Okay, this is got a request for this one, which is on the album. Great, which is fantastic. And let's see, what was it? Oh, this is for Carol Kutzinger. And this is her long hair flowing down. This is kind of like a story it's going to the gold rush in Sutter's Creek in the west coast in California. And, an Irishman, a typical story. Irishman heads off there and expects to make his fortune. And of course, most of the people making their fortune there were the people selling the goods and not digging the gold, really. And so he leaves his loved one behind, and so he leaves this kind of precious gold for something very different. So that's what this is about. I am a true-born Irishman, in exile from my land. I've travelled through Columbia and the states of this great land. I've worked all on the railroads, on the frontier built new towns. But still I long for my darling girl and her long hair flowing down. I hung my hat in California, a long, long way from home. Through hardships and through dangers, all on the land I've roamed. But here I am, a 49er, still digging in the ground. For no gold I find will ever compare with her long hair flowing down. I've panned the great American river, Coloma and Wairika's hills. I've worked all through the blazing summer and winter's wicked chill. But at night when I lie sleeping and the stars shine all around, I dream of passionate kisses and sweet embraces and her long hair flowing down. And I wish we were in some green valley where the wild birds and the thrushes sing, where the dew falls from the meadow in the blooming youth of spring. Well, I would pluck for you some bonny red roses and weave some rushes round and place them in your lily white finger by your long hair flowing down. And how I long for the day when this gloom turns to the light, when I find that bright gleam of gold all in the water bright. Well, I'd pay my debt with no regrets, and I'd ramble out of town, and then I'd return to my darling girl and her long hair flowing down. Then I'd return to my darling girl and her long hair flowing down.
That was her long hair flowing down, and that's on the Pat of Stones album. And let's see, I just wanted to say a few thank yous to people from Compass Records. First of all, Gary and Alison, thanks so much. I've known them a long time and been on this label a few years now, and it's they've always come out and helped in many different ways. So thanks a million. And the Casey and Angie have done a fantastic job with just kind of promoting this and getting it out there and doing all this stuff. So I'd love to thank them for that. And big hand for Sally Sparks here, who's doing all this back work here for this live show. Thanks, Sally, and Deb as well for doing all of this. So let's see. I'll do a tune. A couple of tunes I've written recently. For this thing called the Butterfly Sessions, which is kind of in Ireland, and getting musicians to write a piece in this seclusion. And I wrote this tune, and I didn't have a name for it. And actually, the last show that I did like this, I asked people for a name, and I can't remember who came up with the name, but I named it that, and it's called. I was going to say Ourselves Alone, but Alone Together. So I named it Alone Together. And then the other two tunes don't have names, so you can hop in and if you want to put a name on them, if I can remember them. Okay, that's the third one. To do because I like doing it. This because tune called Silky. This is a verbatim from a dream that I had many moons ago now. Swing tide, caress me, seaweed, kelp and brine, deep water, dark and heaving sea. No memories, just deep breathing, no name, no shape, no time. A dark regret enfolds the shape of mine. Till the tide turns, the sea calls out once more. Till the tide turns, and the sea calls out once more. My child, I held you tightly, I nursed you and I sheltered you, free from all harm and from danger. I watched you grow so quickly, deeply diving, swimming, gliding, past those very rocks where our kin slumber. Till the tide turns, the sea calls out once more. Till the tide turns, and the sea calls out once more.
a storm it raged for 3 days. We sheltered in the bay, casting off our calls, we slept undaunted. When I awoke, I called you, no answer came to me. Oh, I searched and searched while tears fell down unnumbered. A distant light was shining on Eday's lonely isle. Looking inside, oh, I saw you there asleeping on a bed of soft green ivy, and a couple brimming with pride, and your silky skin was hanging by your side. Till the tide turns, the sea calls out once more. Till the tide turns, and the sea calls out once more. Swing tide caress me, seaweed, kelp and brine, deep water, dark and heaving sea. 7 years a changeling, 7 years of trials, to see you coming back to me, my child. And the tide turns, the sea calls out once more. Till the tide turns, and the sea calls out once more.
There you go. Just thought of this one. My brother Colin asked me to do some from my first album because he hasn't heard them from years and years. This is a song that I haven't done in a while. Da da da. My parents reared me tenderly, I being their only son. Little ever did they think I'd follow the fife and drum. They brought me up in fear of God and kept me from toil and woe, which makes me sigh and oft times cry
I wish the war was o'er. To finish my education, they brought me to school a while, and by their hard industry kept me in proper style. But with some liquor in my head, I sailed for Glasgow Green and enlisted with John Barber, all for to serve the Queen. After 7 long years had passed and gone, I thought of my liberty. After 7 long years had passed and gone, I thought I could be free. But the answer the Colonel gave to me, it oft times makes me cry, that I was bound to serve the Queen till all the wars were nigh. I take my second bounty, perhaps will be for life, and I'll cross the briny ocean, and that gun will be my wife. And I'll drain off a flowing glass, I'll drain it o'er and o'er. Fair maid, don't mourn, for I'll return when the cruel war is o'er. I always loved that song. That's a great song that I got from Len Graham. I can't remember what album that I heard it from, but I've always loved Len Graham's singing and collection. What a great collector of songs, and I've got to know him a little bit over the years. And just a great fella too. But kind of, he really has excelled himself in just collecting of songs and singing. And so anyway, that's from him. Let's see what else. And this was okay. This is Crooked Jack. Irishmen, bold, young and stern, with adventure in your souls. There are better ways to spend your days than working down a hole. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. Now the ganger's blue-eyed boy was I, Big Jack could do no wrong, and the reason simply was because I could work hard hours and long. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. And I curse the day that I went away to work on that hydro dam. For sweat and tears, our hopes and fears brought up in shuttering jams. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. Before the time, their faces drawn and grey, but I never thought so soon would mine be lying in that self-same way. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. They say that honest toil is good for the spirit and the soul, but believe me, boys, it's for sweat and blood that they want you down a hole. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. I was tall and true, all of 6'2", but they broke me across the back, and by a name I'm known, and it's not my own. They call me Crooked Jack. They call me Crooked Jack. They call me Crooked Jack. The old coronavirus beard here. At some stage I'll cut it, I suppose. I do this air that I wrote, this is the last track on the album, and I go into a couple of jigs. And this is called Knockacree, and Knockacree is a place up in the mountain, up in the Ladies' Bray, back behind where Pannery cries, okay Lily. Back behind the house in Killarney, and it's a beautiful place back up there. We used to go walking a lot back by a place called Spink, and I think I've composed it on one of those walks, and it was actually originally composed on fiddle by myself, and a scrapey fiddle, and kind of translated it to guitar after that. So.
Okay. That last one was just thrown in there. That was one I wrote recently. And what was the names of those other ones? Let me see. Oh, look. Look, it's a new album. My eyesight's getting really bad. Terrible. Okay. The second last one was called Beltra Fair, and then the last one, or the second to last one, was called Ocra's Head. All around that area there. Okay, let's see. Getting towards the end, a couple more songs. Okay, here's a few fast ones. Okay, we have to do. I've been doing this for a while.
All of you colliers who work down the mine, from Sculptor to Saltaire, from Cleesdale to Tyne, I'll sing you a song of £1 a week rise, and the men who were fooled by the government's lies. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. Now in 1960, a few years ago, the mine workers' leaders to Lord Robins did go, saying we work very hard and every day we risk our lives, and we ask you here and now for £1 a week rise. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. Then it's up spoke Lord Robins, and he made this decree: now when the output rises, then with you I will agree to raise up all of your wages and to give to you fair play. For I was once a miner and I worked hard in my day. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. So the miners, they went home and they worked hard and well, their lungs filled with coal dust in the bosom of hell. The output rose by 15-18% and more, and when 2 years had passed and gone, they rose above a score. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. They get their hard-won prize to ask Lord Robins for their £1 a week rise. Robins wouldn't give £1, he wouldn't give 10 bob. He gave them 7 and 6 and said, get back to your jobs. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. So come all of you colliers, take heed what I say, and don't believe the coal board when they say they'll give fair play. For they'll tell you to work hard to make the output rise. You'll get pie in the sky instead of a £1 rise. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the sky, and you're working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. That was that. £1 a week rise. Written by Ed Pickford, and I got it from the wonderful singing of Dick Gaughan playing one of my heroes. And I hope he's doing well in this time. And let's see, a couple more, and then I'll let you go. And if there must be some way of getting a hold of this album. If you go to Compass Records, you can go to the Pata to get the Pata Stones. That's what it's for. And just be some click on site somewhere around here. And a few other thank yous. Paul Humilier, thanks so much for putting this on, and Dream Guitars there's a great site to go to for amazing guitars. And they also have a whole bunch of workshops and things like that as well. It's something really good to do. And there you go, Streamside Music, and there
Thanks, Deb. And Fretboard Journal, thanks so much for this as well. And Nashville Music School, thanks for doing this as well. So, cool. Of a wild colonial boy, Jack Dolan was his name. Of poor and honest parents, he was born for Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's only joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. He was scarcely 16 years of age when he left his native land, and through Australia's sunny climes a bushranger he roamed. He robbed those wealthy squatters, their stocks he did destroy, and a terror to Australia was the wild colonial boy. So come along, you rebels, we'll roam the mountain high. Together we may follow, and together we may ride. We'll wander o'er the valley, we'll gallop o'er the plain, we'll scorn to live in slavery, bound down in iron chain. In 61 the staring youth commenced his wide career, with a heart that knew no danger, no foeman did he fear. He held up the Beechwood mail coach, he robbed Judge McAvoy, who trembled and gave up his gold to the wild colonial boy. One day as he was walking the mountainside along, listening to those pleasant birds, their clever laughing song, up rode 3 mountain troopers, Kelly Davis and Fitzroy, and swore that they would capture him, the wild colonial boy. So come along, you rebels, we'll roam the mountain high. Together we may follow, and together we may ride. We'll wander o'er the valley, we'll gallop o'er the plain, we'll scorn to live in slavery, you my poor fountain chain. Surrender now, Jack Dolan, can't you see we're 3-1? Surrender now, Jack Dolan, or your life will not be long. Jack took the pistol from his belt, shook it up on high. Well, I'll fight but not surrender, says the wild colonial boy. Well, he fired at Trooper Kelly and brought him to the ground, but turning round to Davis, he received a mortal wound. All shattered through the jaw, he lay still firing out Fitzroy, and that's the way they captured him, the wild colonial boy. So come along, you rebels, we'll roam the mountain high. Together we may follow, and together we may ride. We'll wander o'er the valley, we'll gallop o'er the plain, we'll scorn to live in slavery, bound down in iron chain. So come along, you rebels, we'll roam the mountain high. Together we may follow, and together we may ride. We'll wander o'er the valley, we'll gallop o'er the plain, we'll scorn to live in slavery, bound down in iron chain. There you go. Okay, let's see. That was for Etienne. He came out with that request there. And let's see, a couple of more, and that'll be it. Okay, The False Lady or Madame and My Darling for Juliet and Daryl. So I'll try and figure that one out. And I think that'll be it, actually. So, so thanks so much, everyone, for coming out and listening to this. There's loads of things online right now, so I really appreciate you coming and supporting this thing. So if you feel like donating, please do. If you're a musician or not working, don't. And because you need the money as much as I do. And so everything is all good. And thank you so much there. Thanks to Kathy. She's in the back here putting up posts. So if you need to do that. And thanks so much in advance if you do donate, and I really appreciate it. So, and if you want to buy the CD, it's on Compass Records, and it's called The Path of Stones. So, okay, I haven't done. Let's see, for my final one, do something I haven't done for a while. By true love, she said, beg and stay all night. You will have pleasure all in my room by a coal and a candlelight light, coal and a candlelight. I won't abide you, false lady, and beg and stay all night. I've got a far better love to enjoy when I go home than you. I go home than you. She stooped over his saddle bow to kiss her lips so sweet. With a penknife all in her hand, she wounded him full deep, wounded him full deep. Why woundest me, you false lady? Why woundest me so sore? There's not a doctor in all Scotland can heal my mortal wound, heal my mortal wound. She awoke the maids all in the morning at the break of day. There's a dead man in my bedchamber. I wish he was away, I wish he was away. So they took him by the lily white hands, the others by the feet. And they threw him in a very deep well full 50 fathoms deep, 50 fathoms deep. Lie there, you false young man, lie there, you lie alone. And let that woman that you love best think you're longer coming home, longer coming home. And then up spoke a pretty little girl, and then up spoke a pretty little bird, sitting on a tree. An ill death may you die, lady, he had no love but thee, he had no love but thee. Come down, my pretty little bird, and sit upon my knee. I've got a golden cage at home, I'm sure to give to thee, I'm sure to give to thee. Oh, I won't come down, you false lady, and sit upon your knee. For you have slain your own true love, I'm sure you would slay me, I'm sure you would slay me. Oh, I wish I had my bow to bend, my arrow and my string. I'd shoot you to the very heart, among the leaves so green, among the leaves so green. Well, if you had your bow to bend, your arrow and your string, I'd take my wings, away I'd fly, you'd never see me again, never see me again. I'd take my wings, away I'd fly, you'd never see me again. All right. Thanks so much for everything, and I'll see you down the road, at hopefully sooner rather than later. And God bless you all, and goodbye.